Hey, what's up, guys? Another episode of Real Estate Straight Talk. Welcome. Guys, we've been out in the field for the last several weeks, and this week I wanted to bring it back into the office, into the classroom with the whiteboard and break down some core principles and some things that I've observed over the last several weeks. By the way, if this is your first week to Real Estate Straight Talk, welcome. Love to have you. Every week we break down different real estate principles, different tactics, stuff that's happening in today's marketplace. So again, I'm Mike Baird. If you haven't followed me, by the way, on Mike Baird Real Estate and Design, you can check me out there. I also have a private face group page called the Smarter Real Estate Tribe, so definitely check us out there. And I really want to talk a little bit more about the tribe and some things that have happened there and some recent experiences that I've had. By the way, you can also check me out on Twitter at FlipManMike. So guys, just got back from an unbelievable trip down to Florida, and I just felt like I really needed to dedicate a full week, a full session of Real Estate Straight Talk talking about that experience, because we know that success is duplicatable and success can be followed, and we're starting to see a lot of people across the country watching these videos and dialing in and really starting to scale their businesses. So that's really what I wanted to talk about, is talk about these key principles and key things that I brought home from my trip in Florida. So really what we're calling this is the Real Estate Straight Talk Show Tribal Case Study. And again, the whole tribal thing comes from the Smarter Real Estate Tribe. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested in really collaborating and coming together with a lot of like-minded, high-level real estate investors across the country. That's what that tribe is built for. It's built for that education purpose and bringing everybody together on a high-level sharing and abundance mentality. So I want to go through this case study and talk to you about my trip down to Florida, who I met, and the things that they are doing so that you can also take those ideas, take those concepts, and apply them in your market. That's the whole thing. Yeah, it's cool that they're doing it down in Florida. Bravo, good job. Thanks for, good job on that. But at the same time, what is it? What are those principles? And let's take them home and let's apply them and let's duplicate it and scale it in our own businesses. So let me just introduce you really quick to the people that I was able to meet down there. First and foremost, I was able to fly from here directly to Miami, and in Miami I met with Emilio Machado and Roberto Moreno. Those two guys are killing it. They're they've been in the United States for a couple years, right out of Cuba, and they're right in the heart of Miami doing a lot of deals. I was also able to meet Samuel Dorville and his wife Cindy. They're also contractors and designers, and so that was the first part of my trip there. And really what I want to do is I want to talk about one of the key principles that I brought home from the Miami trip, learning from Emilio, learning from Roberto, learning from Sam, learning from Cindy. What are they doing and what's really kicking their business off? Realize that these folks have been in the business for just a couple of years and they're really starting to see some phenomenal success, and I was frankly blown away by some of that. So I want to tell you this first little idea that I'm going to share with you in terms of their success is not something I think is really ever talked about in business. I've never heard about it in a conference, heard about it in a video, heard about it in any other sort of training. And it's kind of something that we just, some of us entrepreneurs just do without thinking about it, but it's never really talked about, it's never taught, and it's never trained on. And that's what I want to really kind of start this off with right now. So again, what did I take home from this trip? And I'm going to give you this first little idea that, again, I've never heard this trained on before. This is the first time, and it really has rung true to me over and over and over again as I keep thinking and reflecting, on those 3 or 4 days that we're there. So here it is. The first little thing that I brought home is this idea of curiosity, the adjective of curiosity, eager to know or learn. Now, you guys know that I've got a bunch of kids, right? And we're always reading books. This is one of my favorite books, personally, growing up. And so Curious George, first day of school. I don't know if you've all read this or taken notes on it. Maybe you just grab the cliff notes on it. But the cool thing about this book and Curious George is just his insatiable desire to get into stuff. He's always looking. If you read through this book, and I was just reviewing it the other day with my kids, but at his first day of school, first thing he wants to do is he jumps in this and he wants to get involved in the balls. So first of all, he's jumping all over, getting into the balls. Then the next thing he's doing is he getting involved in all the lunch and what's going on with lunch. And the next thing he's doing, he's getting involved in the paint. And after he's getting in the paint, he makes obviously a huge mess. That's what Curious George does. After he's gotten into the balls, after he's gotten into the food, he gets into the paint and he makes a huge mess. Well, then all of a sudden, after he's made a huge mess in the whole paint thing, he's looking at it. All the kids are wondering what the heck's going on. So he's like, well, what am I going to do here? Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a little bit more curious and I'm going to jump into the closet. So here Curious George is jumping into the closet because he's now going to try to figure out a way to solve his deal. And then he comes out there and he's got the mop and he's got the bucket and he goes out there and he goes and he cleans up this whole mess with all of his friends that he's originally created, right? So this is Curious George, First Day at School. Favorite book, definitely pick it up, read it. It's a bestseller read. Here's the point. Cute book, right? But you're thinking, curiosity. What does that have to do with business? What does that have to do with this real estate and buying and selling homes? Well, I can tell you this. The guys in Miami, Emilio, Roberto, Cindy, Sam, those guys are curious. They're curious. They're eager to learn. They're eager to know. Let me just walk through some synonyms for the word curious. Check this out, okay? Analytical, examining, inquiring, inquisitive, inspecting, interested, intrusive, investigative, I love this one, peeping, prying, questioning, scrutinizing, searching, and snooping. That's what these guys are doing. Like they are inquisitive, inspecting, interested, intrusive, investigative, peeping, prying, questioning, scrutinizing, searching. That's what they're doing. They are curious about everything. As they're driving down the road, they are curious. And this is a principle that I've learned over and over and over again as I've traveled around across the country and I'm meeting with investors and they're like, hey, how do I get started in this business? And I would say, hey, one of the first things we got to do is we got to start to get really, really curious. Really, really interested in what's happening in the marketplace. Let me tell you a story that took place while we were down there. So we're driving down a road. Emilio and Roberto, they have a house under contract for $220,000. This was a short sale. They've kind of been working for the last several months. They have it under contract at $220,000. And they go, hey, Mike, should we do this deal? Is this a good deal? Is it worth doing? I says, I don't know. Like, let's start driving around. Let's get curious. So as we're driving down the subject street that they have under contract at 220, I says, let's find some other solds on the subject street. And so we start driving. Where are these solds? And we find this sold property. It's about a half a block, 2 blocks down on the left-hand side of the street. And it had sold for $340. And they're like, Mike, look, we got this one under contract for $220. We can buy this one, or this one over here sold for $340. Let's go see it. I'm curious. What's happening over there? And as we're driving, we see the one that sold for $330 or $340. And all of a sudden, guess what? Holy cow. Somebody is working on that property. So I turned to Emilio. I said, Emilio, pull over. I'm curious. I'm curious. And so what we do is we pull over, we get out of the car, and we walk in, and we start to talking to these contractors as to what's going on. It ends out that a guy bought it for $340,000. He lives out of that particular area, was doing a remodel on that, and was considering either flipping it or moving it into it for himself. So that gave us that little idea as to whether 220 was a deal or not. Now, let me ask you this. What if we wouldn't have gotten out of the car? What if we wouldn't have stopped the car, walked over, and just ask a guy, hey, by the way, what's going on here? We know they bought it for $340, but he's in the middle of this remodel. Like, why? Like, we thought the thing was like perfect and already dialed in and had sold at $340. So what did that do for our comps? Well, obviously it justified where we were at. So this whole concept of curiosity starts with this little idea right here. And I refer to it as I wonder. I wonder what they're doing there. I wonder what it's sold for. I wonder what that agent is selling it for. I wonder how long it's been on the market. I wonder how big that property is. I wonder if that backs a golf course or if it backs the water. I wonder if it backs a commercial, or I wonder just that idea of curiosity. And I would say that if we want to seed that curiosity, it all starts with this little idea right here. I wonder. Now, the opposite of curiosity is sometimes what we're involved in. If you look at the antonym for curiosity, it's indifferent or uninterested. Now, I was going down to the Florida area to specifically look at a deal that I'm interested in investing in. And in order for me to do that, I need to get extremely curious over a very short period of time to decide, hey, is this a deal that I want to do? I've got to get curious and just bring it on. So every opportunity that I have And rather than driving by a sign that's close to my subject property, so I'm interested, I'm curious, I'm wondering, hey, what's going on with this property? Hey, what's happening here? And within a 4 to 6 hour period, we can get a pretty good grasp and understanding for a specific area just because of this concept of curiosity and the whole wonder or I wonder deal. And guess who taught it? Right there. Mr. Curious George. So next time, that's again the very, very first concept or idea that I want to share with you in terms of your marketplace. You're thinking, hey, I want to start my marketplace. I'm new to this. I got to get really, really curious. Or if you're thinking, hey, I've been here for a while, I've been doing my business for a while, just recognize that a lot of the success you've probably had is because of that question, because of that ability to inquire and question and wonder. So when you're driving down the road, hopefully this ruins you, because it ruins me, right? I'm like driving, I'm like, I wonder what that's selling for. I wonder how long they've been doing that. I wonder why is that dumpster out in front of the house? Let's go see what's happening. So always this question, I wonder. Okay, that is lesson number 1 coming out of Miami, and that's from my boys, the Cuban boys, and Cindy and Sam. I wonder. Okay, write it down, embed it in your brain, engrave it in there, and think of Mr. Curious George. Okay, don't lose that on me. Okay, the second idea and concept. After spending some time in Miami, we flew over to Tampa, and that's where I met with Billy Batson and Dustin and Melissa Petty. Okay, so by the way, these guys are awesome. I was blown away. I was so excited for the success that they're having. Billy is down in the Sarasota area, and then Dustin and Melissa just moved from San Diego, and they're starting their business basically fresh in Tampa. So that whole curiosity thing is definitely going to be a key element to them and their business, and that's what we were able to do. We were able to actually go walk a couple properties with them, go see what things we were selling for, what it would take to get some deals done. So we started that. So let me just tell you this next little step that really Billy continued to hit home for me. And while we were, driving from one property to the next, we did a little live video, and I kind of put Billy on the spot. And Billy, by the way, he comes across as like this, I don't know, like white gold chains and sunglasses and stuff. And across that, I was like, who's this Billy guy? You know what I mean? Like, is he really like all that? What's up with all the gold chains and the accessories and stuff? But I'm telling you, Billy is real. He's genuine, down to earth, hard worker, and I just love spending time with that guy. So anytime you have opportunity to maybe reach out to him through the tribe or whatever, definitely somebody I'd have you talk to. Billy, I put him on the spot on this live video. We're driving, and one of the things he says to me is, he says, Mike, he says, every day, guess what? The phone never picks up itself. And that to me was like, yeah, it's true. Like, everyone, you just don't wake up and the phone just happens to just be in your ear and you happen to be talking to him. He's like, every day you got to pick that phone up, right? And it kind of helped me like start thinking once again, like in terms of what I've been involved in and what I'm seeing again across the country. And Billy's experience this is just this next idea and concept, which is essentially to rep something. It's a verb, it's repetition, right? It says the action of repeating. And Billy's in that mode right now where every day he's repeating a very, very specific action. And I kind of think back to my high school days when we were lifting weights. I got some weights here, And by the way, when I was lifting weights, like my very favorite move was just an upright row, just like this. Boom, just nice and simple right there. I know, like I got 25s right now. I should probably go a little heavier, but I don't want to be bulking up. I want to keep it lean. Keep it lean, nothing too big. So the upright row, it's just right here, boom, just like that. And what we would do is we'd come in, you set your schedule for like shoulders or something. Here's like Monday through Sunday, and here we got 12 reps, 10 reps, 8 reps, maybe with the rows, and then maybe you come in afterwards and hit some military press, right? So again, we're hitting 12, 10, 8 on the rows, and then we're coming in 12, 10, 8 on the military. We're hitting that on Monday, and then we come back, we're off on Tuesday, come back on Wednesday, hit the same thing again, and then on Friday, we're doing the same thing as well. So we're talking about hitting those reps, and that's the success that Billy's starting to see, and that's the success that Dustin and Melissa are going to start to see as they just rep more and more and more property. If I think one of the biggest problems out there, people getting started, is a simple fact that we're just not seeing enough property. Like we need to be just repping more. It'd be like saying, hey, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna hit shoulders on Monday, and then I'm gonna wait a whole week, or maybe I'm gonna wait 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna come back and hit it. Or guess what? I'm only gonna do 8, and then I'm gonna wait a week, and then I'm gonna do 8 again. Well, we're not gonna start seeing results if I'm only hitting 8 reps on Monday, and then I'm taking 2 weeks off, right? I gotta be hitting it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a couple of different sets, a bunch of different reps, and just rep it over and over and over again. So if you're saying, hey, I'm just not seeing any success, a lot of this just has to do with just being out there and repping more and seeing more and getting a feel for exactly what it is. And I know that's the case. We went and saw a property with Dustin and Melissa, and I think it was on Alva, and they were asking $179 for it. And I said, okay, cool, $179 is a good starting point. There was another property on the subject that had sold for, I think, $260. And I said, okay, good, let's rep another one. What else do we have in this area that we can go and look at and begin to leverage against? We just want to rep and rep and rep. So think about it in terms of every week, what am I doing? What am I seeing? What am I repping over and over and over again? Because these guys are doing it and they're seeing success. Let me just bring this now full circle a little bit in terms of the final lesson that we just drove home over and over again, is a lot of times we think, as we're quote unquote real estate investors, that we think that we are we're contractors, that we think we're huge big time rehabbers, that we need to blow walls out, we need to really zero in on the design. And one of the things that all of these folks, both in Miami as well as in Tampa, were communicating to me is the fact that when they can make this transition, from contractor to actually deal maker. And in the words of Emilio, he's like, we need to become transactional engineers and you get like a PhD degree or master's degree in transactional engineering. All of a sudden, we turn from this contractor mode to all of a sudden the guy that's out there finding deals, putting deals together. And that's when I think the money really starts to happen and work for us. And I think all of this goal in becoming a transactional engineer happens with our ability to, number one, be extremely curious, inquisitive. I wonder what's happening here. Just asking ourselves that question, and then just knowing as we do that and we rep that thought process and we rep that action, that we're going to start to see success. So anyways, again, I was super humbled and excited and extremely blessed to have that opportunity to spend time with those guys in both Miami and in Tampa. They're doing great things, and the beautiful thing is we can take that message home and we can duplicate that in our own marketplaces. So hopefully that's the case for all of you guys. Definitely, again, if you want to ever go one-on-one with me, do a consultation, you can click on that link below. If you want to make comments, please do that below. I would love to hear those comments as well. Go ahead and check out the Smarter Real Estate Tribe. You want to talk about abundance mentality and people that are doing this business and doing it right. All that's happening right there as well. So awesome show, guys. I appreciate it. We'll definitely be back next week, and hopefully probably not be in the field. I don't know. Maybe we'll be back here. Maybe we'll be in Chicago, maybe in California. Who knows? We want to break it down again every week on Real Estate Straight Talk. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.